This is just such an incredible day. This band is going to be at Lollapalooza this summer. Can you believe it? It's so exciting. Does everyone have tickets? Yeah, you're good? Just in case you need 4-day passes, we got you covered. Q101.com, the contest section, because you can't miss them on the big stage. But we are so, so very lucky that they are here to play for you. I mean, you are 3 feet away from where Abigail is going to be singing. Is that unreal? So cool. Thank you for being here. Conceived during a wine-stained evening in Brixton, the name embodies a musical and aesthetic ethos of decadence, mystery, spectacle, and charm, finding artistry in the intersection between the beautiful, sublime, and grotesque. The band are guided by their favorite romantic poets and Gothic novelists, and here to bestow their gifts to you. Please welcome The Last Dinner Party! I promise we won't bite too hard. Aurora, Emily, Lizzie, Abigail, Georgia, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. So this is your proper day off, right?
Yep.
In between, was it Columbus last night?
It was.
Minneapolis tomorrow night? And so you should be resting and relaxing today. And
This is a living room. It's like intimate and chill. I feel very relaxed.
Okay. I'm glad. Well, I just want you to know that we appreciate you so much for taking the time, making a special stop in Chicago just for this. How insane.
Right.
And the debut album, Prelude to Ecstasy, is absolutely immaculate. I want to dig into that in just a second. But first, anyone who's seen this band live knows that each of you individually look like you were born on a stage. It's unbelievable, just the ability, the comfortability, the freedom that you exude. And I'd love to know how each of you individually first got introduced to music, first got introduced to that feeling of you want to do this. Maybe start with Aurora.
Ooh, I guess I just grew up in a household where like my family loved music. So I just grew up listening to rock, pop, like Tracy Chapman, Pink Floyd, everything. But then I studied classical piano, so I went down that route. And I kind of missed pop music, and I decided to join loads of bands, and this was one of them, and now here we are. So, I think it was something stupid, like watching someone play guitar at the end of the Piglet movie when I was like 6.
When you were 6?
Yeah.
Wow.
I took guitar up when I was 6 and then I quit because I was like, this is boring. But then I took it back up again because then I found a teacher who I really liked and we really got along, and he showed me like loads of songs that I loved and really inspired me. So kind of thanks to him, really.
Do you remember the first song that you learned on the guitar?
It was Tears in Heaven. Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks. I started writing music when I was 13. And I think I decided long before that I wanted to either be an actress or in a rock and roll band. And I was like, there's no plan B. It worked. And then, moved to London and started a band. And now here we are.
And this is the band. That's amazing. Lizzie?
My dad was a big fan of Queen and ABBA, so I was force-fed that from birth. And then moved to London to do university and met Abby and Georgia, and Abby was like, do you want to be in a band? And I was like, yeah. And then I looked up, and here I am.
I had piano lessons as a kid, but then thought I wanted to play bass guitar because I watched Wayne's World, and do you remember Cassandra, the bass player in that? I was like, I don't know if I'm in love with you or I want to be you. So I just decided to become her. And my bass is named after her, actually. I used to play in a band with my 2 little brothers who played guitar and drums. So we'd enter like the high school talent shows. And I think that's where I was like, I actually love being on stage and having a bit of center of attention kind of thing.
It suits you. So the impetus of this actual band, was it Lizzie and Abigail you met first? And how did you meet?
I think I met Georgia first.
Okay.
At uni, and it was at a pub.
Yes.
Obviously. And yeah, we both were doing English literature in London, but we spent all our time just going to gigs and wanting to be involved in that. And then just one day in the smoking area, we were like, let's start our own band, and then did not expect to make it in Chicago.
Well, you're so damn good at it. I mean, this band has exploded in the last few years, and, starting out maybe right before the lockdown, essentially, and just kind of honing your craft, getting to know each other at the same time, learning how to perform, and then just hitting the ground running 1,000 miles an hour when the world opened back up. And now here you are. It's incredible. So yeah, I want to get into the debut album that I think it's so interesting. It was recorded at a church that is 170 years old, Church Studios. And I mean, the company that you're in, people like Annie Lennox, the XX, Patti Smith, Lana Del Rey, Florence and the Machine, Adele, who were, creating, recording in the space. And then you go in there. I'm wondering how much that history kind of seeped into each of you, seeped into this music, and affected the outcome.
I think it was a very beautiful room because it was converted church, they say, but the producer we worked with, James Ford, had worked with some of the people you just mentioned. I think he just made it such a comfortable environment. Like, it was very intimidating walking in, but then as soon as we got started working, it was like, oh, it's all fine. It's all doable. He made us feel like we could kind of do whatever we put our minds to, and just elevated it to such an amazing place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it was the people that filled up the room that kind of made it really special. But also, it was beautiful and like just a joy to go into every day. It was, yeah, a dream, really.
So James Ford, who, as mentioned, has worked with so many of these bands, also Arctic Monkeys, Blurries, In the Last Shadow Puppets, such a talent. Do you feel that he was an extra member of the band at the time? And what was the biggest thing that he influenced on this album?
I think what is amazing about him, and I think why so many people work with him and why he's so gifted, is that he's so generous with his gifts and his time and his encouragement. And it's not like you listen to an album produced by James Ford and you think, oh yeah, that's the James Ford album. It's got the tag and his sound. And, he's so talented at bringing out the best in people. And he drummed, he played drums on that whole record, which was really cool. And yeah, I just think he, only from meeting us a couple of times, managed to kind of, I don't know, just kind of influence each of us and the whole sound in a way that didn't impinge on who we were and what the sound was, but just took it to where it should be. And that's a lot of trust and safety and comfort in that. And he's a real legend.
That's what makes a great producer, is he's not trying to form you into something. He's seeing what's inside you and elevating that and letting you hear it in a different way and making this incredible album. I'm curious, did Lizzie and Emily learn flute just for the album? Did you already know? How did that come about?
Well, 3 of us in the band. Like, did you hear that? I wasn't in my...
I think your mic was off.
Oh, yeah. Like, 3 of us in the band already played flute. Like, we learned in school. Like, I think I started learning when I was 11. So yeah, we didn't just learn it for this, but I had like maybe 6 years where I hadn't played it. And then I was like, oh, we could do flute on a song, actually. So I picked it back up again, kind of just for this.
I mean, the instrumentation is insane. There's mandolin, there's strings, which, Aurora, you arranged the strings and you were the conductor? Yeah. Was that new for the album? I know you have this classical piano background, but...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because before the band, I was studying composition, and like part of my study was like classical piano, composition, conducting. So that was kind of my main thing. So it was nice to be able to contribute that to this like rock band scenario. It's really fun. Really enjoyed it.
Well, the outcome is an absolute masterpiece, top to bottom. I'm going to say one of the albums like of the decade. I know it's a little early. It's only been out a year, but so it did come out a year ago. Have you been writing or creating since then? I know you've been very busy.
When did it come out? Months? A month
Wait,
ago.
hold on.
I'm sorry.
recorded it.
I was like, what year?
It was January.
For a second, I was like, oh my god, it had.
What a year.
It came out. When did it come out?
What month is it? 3 months ago.
Came out in Feb.
Just kidding. Have you been writing since then?
Yes.
And typically, you don't have a method or a structure to write, create. How does it typically work? Do you come together? Do you each work separately and then bring pieces together?
It depends. We kind of like experiment with different ways of doing it. Sometimes it'll be one of us will go off and sort of write just a demo of a song and then bring it, and then everyone will work on it together. Or one or two of us will split off and start something, and then there's one that we've written recently that we've been playing live, which we started on the day Nothing Matters came out, and we were all in Aurora's house, kind of sitting around a synth really anxiously. And then Lizzie just started going, and then we built a song from that. So it's just, we like doing different methods. It's exciting.
And you're always keeping a diary still,
Yeah.
since you were young.
Yeah.
And so some of these songs are maybe from excerpts from that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Every day you're writing in your diary.
Not every day, because it's sometimes I can't be bothered. But it's I would recommend to everyone in this room, it's a good habit to keep, to look back on and to use for self-understanding.
I love the visual element to this band. And I'm very curious how big your closets are, because my God, the costumery and just the whole thing, you have to have tons of storage in London, yes?
We live in London.
Where there's no storage.
There's no storage. I share a wardrobe with my boyfriend as well. And slowly it's like, okay, we'll have one side each. But mine is like quite encroaching on his little shirts and things with my ball gowns and my...
It doesn't have to be half and half, just so you know.
Oh, well, yeah, no. I've
Something I learned earlier.
mine are more important.
Do you ever share clothes?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my dress.
That's Georgia's dress. Yeah. All the time. It's
All right, who's wearing who? So you're wearing Georgia and...
I think it's just I just take Georgia's clothes when she's not looking from her suitcase. Like, that's my dress.
Well, I know there's probably no easy answers to this question, but everyone wants to know where it all comes from. Where does the onstage aesthetic come from? All these clothes, I know some of them are vintage. Are some of them custom? Are some of them created by you? Is anyone into that?
I've started creating them recently, not this, but yeah, dresses and things that are kind of inspired by our aesthetic that we've built up, and like prairie dresses and sort of just things that are pretty.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we've seen that you are wearing something you created?
Not really. So
Yeah,
I know which.
there's like a pink dress that I wore with a corset top that I made, and then a purple gingham dress, and then like a pink prairie casual dress. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we just wrapped a month-long feature on the women who make Q101 and celebrating Women's History Month. And it's this huge thing that we do. And I would love to hear your female and non-binary influences that, got you into music that you kind of look to even now for inspiration.
So many. I mean, got me into music. Tracy Chapman, Whitney Houston. Loved her. Avril Lavigne was like my first CD. I feel like obviously my tastes have changed.
What do you mean, obviously?
now. Not obviously. They're still amazing. I love them all dearly. But yeah, now probably more so listening to Mitski and more current bands that are releasing music, like CMAT as well. Just got to keep going. Does someone else want to go?
We recently met Skin from Skunk Anansie. I don't know if you know, they're like a UK kind of grungy band from the 90s. And she was one of my musical heroes, like the first Black woman to headline Glastonbury, like real trailblazer. She came to our show in Brooklyn, and she was just the most lovely, like kind, generous, like sweet, cool person I'd ever met. And so it was like, you know, I've always idolized her for what she's achieved, but now I really idolize her for her like character and the way that she kind of came to us and was so lovely. Yeah.
Even that. I think Lana Del Rey. Oh, I'm so sorry. Should we say at the same time?
I wasn't going to
Well, that's all right. I'll just yeah, Lana Del Rey. I think for me, she's at the moment my favorite living artist. And I always kind of come back to her as a songwriter, and I think someone who's just done a really good job of coming out with such a massive debut album and getting, you know, becoming famous very quickly and having a lot on her, and then just managing to kind of find her own sound, find her niche, and then now she's just like putting out record after record, and she's just an amazing writer. So yeah, that's my woman.
I was going to say Christine and the Queens, was someone who was very inspirational to me. And I saw them at Glastonbury, and it was just like art. Like, I think the whole set is on YouTube. You should go look it up, because it was like theatre, dance, vocals. Like, it was amazing. It was like from start to finish. I was completely spellbound. So yeah, he's someone that I really look up to.
All right, everyone has homework.
Yeah.
In the room, you heard that? Can you tell us about Ribbons for Provisions?
Sure. It's, you can see some on my base here. We just thought, you know, not being from the US and visiting all these different individual communities, that we wanted to do something to kind of give back to each location that we visit. It's actually our manager, Alejandra's idea. So shout out to her. But it's been a really beautiful thing to see just boxes and boxes being filled up with things that local food shelters, women's shelters, food banks need. So it's just like, it was so easy for us. We didn't have to do anything, but it's a way of like giving back to all of these communities that we visit, which has been really meaningful and really special to see at the end of every night.
With how busy you are, it's so funny that you're so modest and like, we didn't have to do it. We didn't do anything. That is such a big thing, that to think of what's bigger than you, and the world is at your fingertips right now. I mean, it feels like everything is converging on the last dinner party. And then here you are on a tour collecting food for people in need. I mean,
Well, I think that's why we're doing it, because if we have this attention on us and this power, like we kind of not have to, that we don't want to, but you know, you have a responsibility, I think, when you're kind of in the public eye and when you do have the power to make a difference, to do things like this. And I think, you know, none of us would be very comfortable if we just lived a life of like, la, 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 in a bubble of not, you know, paying attention to what's going on in the world. So whatever, you know, small or big thing we can do, I think, you know, we should. And I think other artists in our position should as well.
I agree. And hopefully it catches on more. We're going to hear some songs for you in just a second. I'm curious if you ever peek into your Reddit, the last dinner party Reddit.
Oh God, no.
What?
Reddit's a horrible place.
Oh my gosh.
No, Reddit's so scary.
Wait, maybe it's different in the UK. It's nice over here.
It's
really horrible.
Yeah, it's like the alt-right kind of pipeline. That's where it all kind of...
No, I think that's Twitter now.
Oh, we've got a nice Reddit in America.
You have a lovely Reddit. And I just want to shout out everybody in there. I have a couple questions just from them.
Sorry
and then
for
we'll
slacking
get
it
on to it.
Yay, Reddit.
So Mick Goobler wanted me to tell you that you sound great live, loves Emily's killer guitar tone, and would like to know if you plan on working with James Ford again in the future, and do you intend to release Second Best?
Yeah, we definitely intend to release Second Best. And yeah, James Ford, if he wants to work with us, then yeah, sure, I don't see why not.
Brewing.
We love him.
Oh, that sounds like something's happening already. All right, impression, Ecstatic 48. Please tell Aurora you looked stunning at the Detroit show. Drummer kicks ass. Abigail singing to them during Nothing Matters made their entire year.
Aww.
And which is each of your most memorable moment from your entire career so far?
Like this.
So I've forgotten all of them.
I feel like all these questions are just a lot.
I mean, obviously Glastonbury, I will say, because that was just another planet of insanity, because none of us had been to it, let alone played. And to kind of be able to, it felt like a real achievement and accomplishment and a really happy, beautiful show. And it was kind of like right when we were getting the most, well, actually, I don't know, because we're still kind of just like everything's rocketing and it's insane. But yeah, I felt like a really good show that we were really proud of, really special weekend.
I'm going to say the Workman's Club in Dublin, Ireland. We've just been on like a month-long tour around Europe and the UK with Hosier. And so we hadn't played any headline shows for ages. We'd just been playing these huge arenas at like 7:30. So it didn't feel like, you know, a classic dinner party.
There weren't many people.
We maybe converted some people, I don't know. But then on the very last night of that tour, we decided to play a little 200 capacity, sweaty club show in Dublin where the crowds are already like absolutely feral. God bless them.
We were all pissed.
And we were all wasted. And we were like doing tequila shots on stage, like Emily crowd surfed. It was just absolute carnage. It was the best show of my entire life. It was so good.
I agree.
I'd have to say for memorable show, our first one in America, Halloween, Washington. But we all dressed as Britney Spears, like different versions of Britney. And just the crowd was insane as well.
You had a wig, Aurora.
I had
It did
wig.
something to you.
it. Yeah, it changed me.
Emily?
Yeah, I'd probably say the Workman's too.
Okay.
Same reason.
So you mentioned Hosier, and Hosier is headlining Lollapalooza, and you are playing Lollapalooza. Would you collaborate with anyone at Lolla this year?
Wait, who's playing? Oh, Chapel Roan. Chapel Roan. We love her so much.
Yeah.
That would be top of my list to collab with, I'd say.
Yeah, she's doing Lola as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Should
Or
we
you just stage invade Hosier.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember us?
Everyone loved that.
should we decide on a theme maybe that we can all something we can wear or some kind of dress code? Last dinner party.
I shouldn't got a dress code.
Yeah.
Just dress like us.
Everyone get a wig.
Yeah.
Wear whatever makes you feel good and that you can dance in, because that's key. All right. I hope that Lizzie's okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a sickness going around. Bit of a cough and cold.
A few more minutes.
At the camps. Yeah.
All right. A few more minutes. Well, the album was completed a year ago, is what I meant to say. So, okay, that's been a long time waiting for your debut album to be released into the world. What was that feeling like? Was it scary? Was it?
I mean, I don't remember feeling I'm very impatient, really, because we were well, because I think because we were so lucky that we had so much time to write and record and finish everything before we got a lot of attention from the media and from the world. Because when we put Nothing Matters out, that was kind of when everything started taking off, and we were really lucky that we already had the whole album ready. We didn't need to be like, oh God, like what do we do now? We have to write all the other songs. But I think we were so proud of it and so kind of just excited and ready, and yeah, it felt fine. Just, you know, now we're eager to just do more.
Is there a song on the album in particular that started out something completely different than where it landed?
Portrait?
Yeah, I can't even remember the original.
I do. It had like a totally different verse.
What was it?
I'm not going to
On
sing
your
it.
side.
Out on your side, yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
I rapped.
Dang.
That's a stretch. Spoken word. It was a spoken word version, but the one we have now. I mean, Nothing Matters is entirely different, because that one was like I wrote it originally and it was kind of like a sad piano ballad, and then we put trumpets on it.
Which makes it triumphant.
Yeah.
And very naughty. Tell me about your work with the Music Venue Trust.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we it's something that we feel very passionately about. If I don't know if you know, but in the UK, independent venues, so ones that aren't owned by like Live Nation and different promoters, have been shutting down at like a very alarming rate because of the rise of cost of living in the UK, rent, electricity, everything like that. So the Music Venues Trust is a charity nonprofit organization that is asking that bigger venues, you know, like your stadiums and your Taylor Swifts and all of that kind of thing, contribute to the maintenance and protection of independent venues and also independent artists themselves. So we want to work with them to use our voice again to encourage bigger venues, promoters, bigger artists themselves to contribute back into that small independent gig economy. Because otherwise there's no stadiums, there's no big artists without the grassroots places where we ourselves started out. So because of that reason, we're super passionate about that organization.
What is there that we can do today to help support that?
I mean, just go and support independent music, independent artists in your own local area, because I imagine the same thing is happening in this country also. So I think it's really important to continue to just buy tickets, buy merch, show up for independent venues, independent artists, because obviously the big stadium stuff is amazing, but there is none of that without the grassroots and where it started. There's no last dinner party without those venues. So it's incredibly important for culture at large.
Facts.
Agreed. Would you like to play us some songs?
Oh.
Everybody good? All right. Please put your hands together again for the last dinner party.